bonum so hwe na bia weather no a uhia coffee so no an so odi so hye be wo no special drinks dey air the pa wonya bia enkra no ko school no na dey man kra say dey bomb benye bia ombenum kama na abo ankola no na best point and the best assurance so e kan for ne ho e dey ama sense ne ba bia adu sika koto a chese wo asomdwe ma papa eno any best point savings loans for sika koto woni problem kra bia wo hia sika bia ko ya na adu sika no egu nsem abusa for madam and e dey awia pem to be ka sebo ma na napo so no bi say o man penny excellence na adodanko akufuado ene wo ka say baby a Ghana eduro ya ye bo modi ase e benya covid-19 vaccine bi ama Ghana for say de ba Ghana for de be bo ho ba na e ho akwakoye den enu nti na ho abehia say wo mkofa nkrofo a wo beto no konko achi konko no wa cheche sasem no emu ene o man penny abedeche vice president Dr. Mamudu Baumia Alhaji wo say ye ka obi a waboa pa madodo amemo ya Ghana ye de ho hyemu faso abaso a na ye o man penny dada excellency president Kufuor nti wabona baso a che say wono aye bebre nti Ghana for enkamfo no sanso no so afo hwa pomode hu nsem so yewura agimamenu so a che say e wo say MMDCs no mensi abedeko ni na hwe kwan o mbeboa akunkum mo anketenkete o mokofa yare ba ebe ha nipa no se de ba ebe boa ma yare bebre no ebetimi abre na se na aba efom sanso na kase bo we te say police adwumeko no e che say amrobi e kro no etuo da so anase si ya Kolebu road wo mokokum police ni nya asem ketwa a che say wo mo atimo otosu na di nyamra asem no say wo mo de 20,000 Ghana cedis e na to mo chi so say wa wo asem bi ebe boa ma makoche sankofo de fabre wo mo na police form fa sai sika no ema abusiafo we ene nsem bebre e na afa de wa ma no nyina e ka ne nyina bom say UTV e wi aprem to be ka se e bo e di nyina e bebre frem me vim lady Afia Pokua afa yen hye ye ensem no asem ya hye kase bonase ane ye hye ase free eyo omampani akache na omampani excellence na adodanko akufuado ene o che Ghana baby a yedro na huhia se etumi ema vaccines a betimi dia kontia covid-19 no ade ba ko na ban wo mani abra wo maye se ombebo Ghana fo pa ne se sa vaccines ni vaccines a umgidi se betimi aboa na soso yare no ano no mum wase asema na nsen aba ye fa covid-19 vaccines na nkrofo se wo mokoto no konko achi konko ebi kura che se abankrofo bi pemusika adi no enye nyina ene ye no kre na wo chechem se wom se eye eho aba be ye dene pass wo musa beka vaccines ni bi nanso mpenifo guso o mbo homodin se wo musa ebeko akoka vaccine na Ghana fo nyina wo matimi awo bia wo benya ho bambo every covid-19 no.
The COVID-19, I've been lucky. I've had a very formidable group of experts who are working in the task force that I chair to help. But clearly, the support of the Ghanaian people has been absolutely critical in our being able to achieve the results that so far we have. And also, of course, of those who have been in the front line of the care industry in Ghana, our health workers and care providers, the whole basket of people who have made it possible for us to achieve the results that so far we have achieved. We have obvious difficulties as far as the vaccination program is concerned. So far, through the COVAX facility, we've received some 1.2 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine, which has enabled us to vaccinate completely some 350,000 people, and some 850,000 have received their first dose. Unfortunately, we are the victims of this worldwide shortage of vaccines. All over humanity, especially the poorer, less advantaged nations, are experiencing in having access to the vaccine. So that, of course, is the major challenge for us, the procurement and the issues of logistics involved in it. It has provided us a very important lesson. Among the many lessons that the COVID has revealed to us, the need for self-reliance in future in these areas. We cannot continue to be dependent on arms and on the charity of foreigners and foreign taxpayers for our basic sustenance. We need to be able to put in place the structures that will enable us in future not to be caught with our pants down. And that is that we have to learn and find the avenue to produce our own vaccines. And I'm particularly keen on providing the assistance for the institutions of our country to do so. We have a committee chaired by a very distinguished, well-renowned Ghanaian scientist who used to be a minister in my government, who chairs the vaccine producing committee, and we're doing our best to mobilize all the resources available so that the roadmap that has to be defined by the committee can be done as quickly as possible. Clearly, at the end of the day, when the roadmap has been defined, the involvement of the private sector in attempting actually to move to the stage of manufacturing is also going to be critical. But that is the next stage that we will come to.
Abuja for mampeni His Excellency Nana Danko Kufuor tumi se wako leave wa ba che so mampeni ay kama pa hwe se de ono agyegie adamu no kasa boko a woruman ya woko 80 o enso ahoden ne wo ho mapa ogina na so pa na nkofo kasa ne mampeni wa fixe akan yemfiri ne ho na afa yenko na bedechi Dr. Mamudu Baumia Alaji so e de abaso de kase pa de ama mampeni dada His Excellency President Kufuor se wabana abaso pa isanso hwemu a wo mo agye Ghana dodo amemo ka mamika bia memo free se Ghana yes ye de be ho be kwa kohyemi untumi yi omampani Kufuor emfiri mu no se ade poten kro be bo President Kufuor din kra eyesi nchen no wabona abaso kra ye hepik no a Ghana ye komo nenso President Kufuor abreso san yi Ghana free mu nei middle income status ayedro no ono na ode ye ekoho.
I was privileged to watch at relatively close quarters what President John Agyekum Kufuor did for Ghana in moving this country from a HIPIC economy to a frontier emerging market economy in 8 years. We saw how he focused on growing the private sector, on reducing poverty and restoring macroeconomic stability. We saw him introduce the landmark National Health Insurance Scheme, the school feeding program, the capitation grant, and the free maternal care, massive infrastructure projects across the country, and many more. Indeed, President John Agyekum Kufuor was and is a force for good in the political history of Ghana. He did so many good things for which Ghanaians, for generations to come, will continue to be grateful. But until now, I suspect many did not know that he also kept an interest in art and their collection. I received an advance copy of Art and the Power of Goodness, and it's not just the beauty of the collection, but the depth of its coverage that adds up to our collective history of what symbols mean in the psychology of power. Former President Kufuor has been good to us with this gift, and Mr. Ajimandua has led the public to know and admire these creations from within Ghana, Nigeria, and 15 other countries that go as far as the near and far east of Asia. As part of the heritage acquisition, I would like to make a humble donation of 50,000 Ghana cedis for this and the keeper of the remains so that reference libraries, arts, colleges, and institutions across the country can know and read them. It is therefore with great pleasure that I would like to unveil to you Art and the Power of Goodness, a collection of John Agyekum Kufuor, forwarded by Gordon Brown and written by Ivor Ajimandua, with a poetry complement, Keeper of the Remains. Congratulations once again to former President Kufuor for sharing your collection. God bless you, and God bless our homeland, Ghana.
The nipa beya na His Excellency Omampeni dada President Kufuor waye no opani wabobra wabɔ bra pa yɛmfiri hɔ na yɛnkɔ apɔmude ho nsɛm mu no so afɔ yɛ no hwɛ Ghana apɔmude ho nsɛm so yɛwura akwakwagima menu no akyɛ mu sɛ mo anketenkete a mokɔfa yare ba ntatea ntɛfrɛ no ne ade wɔ sɛ district assemblies ne municipal and metropolitan assembly no ɛbɔ homɔden pa so mbɛhwɛ di ho dwuma sɛ de ba yare ba bebree bepie wɔ hospital no ne nyina ho hia kra sɛ nka betimi aba hospital na kyɛ sɛ yɛtumi abɔ ho ban yɛtumi ate yɛ yare ne yɛ brɛ so ɛma ɛwɔ man Ghana mu.
I'm extremely happy that there's an association formed today that will standardize and regularize the activities of these very important players in our country, so that as government officials, when we are engaging individuals and companies that will fumigate our markets or any other part of the country that requires such an action, we will be dealing with the right people.
The theme for the inauguration is prioritizing infection prevention and vector control, lessons from COVID-19 pandemic. As a country, time and again, we have demonstrated the capacity to respond to public health issues and health crises. However, it is also evident that each of these crises represents an opportunity for lessons to be learned. I won't go as far as back as Ebola disease, which spread with devastating effects in the parts of West Africa. We responded well, but one of the main lessons we learned is that once the outbreak subsides or passes, our response also disappears.
Disinfection fumigation is a highly technical area. Not everybody can do it. So you need people that are qualified, have the capacity, and have the resources to be able to carry it out. And so that is why this association is needed, so that we can be prepared and make sure that we have all the things in place. You saw that Zoom Lion had to come in under the emergency to import vehicles to do our streets, our market, and all that. Now we are bringing all these groups together. Again, one major problem in Ghana is that, when there is a problem, people want to take advantage to make money. So once there is money, anybody who can buy a knapsack sprayer gets into the field and say, I am doing disinfection and fumigation. And usually the unsuspecting public doesn't know who is qualified and who is not qualified. Chemicals, some of them are very toxic, highly toxic. So you may call a pest controller who is not qualified to your home, to your institution or your premises to come and do disinfection, and they rather will do you more harm than good. They may end up rather helping you to die than protecting you from the death. So with an association like this, working with the EPA, we would be able to regularize, bring all the people who are into pest control together and make sure that we harmonize their activity, develop protocols, standard operating procedures, and ensure that they operate to the highest international order.
Afia apɔmude ho nsɛm akɔ mensi ye de reach Kwawu East na openikasi a wona district executive wo hɔ mu sɛ Kwawu East ye wo mu sɛ akwan bebre nya de nanso akwan dodo no a de wo matimi abɔ ho ban ayɛ pa kyɛ sɛ ɔkyerɛ mu sɛ wo hwɛ akwan ne bebre no wo mawie ɛyɛ ɛna dodo no aso wo mu guso a wo mu yɛ ho adwuma ɔno abode asɛmi atu dwabra na wone wo manfo ekɔ aprobo akɔhwɛ akwan a wo mayɛ ɛne de wo mu guso a kyɛ sɛ wo mu ɛyɛ abroni bɛka sɛ construction eguso a ɛkɔso.
As at the time, me take you over from 2017. Na Kwawu is ya kwanya ahun quota 20%. 20% na meka no main road from Price to Abitifin to Pepiase and Kwawu Tafo and also na main road etwem kwa from place. And no more consist of that 20%. The way that 80% of our roads na enye. But your boy homodin. For the past 8 years of NDC administration, Oman can quota back kra e wo mansin. By a baye Kwawu Tafo etimi agu quota ya town roads from Drebiasi to Onyemso yagu quota e wo ho. Oba Nkwetia town roads is on contract. Our contractor Abitifi town roads is on contract. Then Okoba Abiti say Tafo to Inteso. Sisi ameka say ya award a contractor guso a wo ye adwuma. E na oko Inteso to Ankoma to Miaso Ankoma to Awisasu Junction. Sa projects in United, I'm a contractor. Egusu Ewoswa or Yejuma. You buy a boy home within the 4 years to make sure education in terms of infrastructure wise and the soft aspect of education, trying to motivate teachers. Now you boy schools, you know, you're organizing mock at the schools for free to make sure say BC performance back on kind. And maybe not BC a try in the whole Eastern region. Not this was near 26. You try near that for more, that 25 and not 26. But this year make us say this was near 33. But the last time my BC results by air ranking, well, it's about 13th position, which is say you go so boy home motivation, the motivated teachers, free mock examination. You organize my schools, you know, to make sure that you provide school desks. You see school are dying. So you make us some boss. You see school are dying back 22 in this district for the past 4 years, both senior high and friends and basic schools. I expanded school feeding to make sure school feeding in so no this with mama mofrana timi any school in the eyes animal to make sure education standards no ebekosro yebekoswa abwa senior this with nibekonkan sense the vision is big. There were a lot of problems. Your lawyer won't crash bebre and nkuma bebre. We have over 100 communities ewo kwa East here. O kan get copper kwa ka there near 200. And there were a lot of communities who mansin and which I say challenges so edoso. Me can say o man for nya abotre. Sabi Rome was not built in a day. Yentumi new projects yentumi nya so problem bia ewo communities within just these few years. We need more time to plan and then make sure say you be implementing more projects. Ama ebiaso community bia eso.
Koi is opening kese no na opening HSA NDC ebae no mo anye hwe MPP for bon mode mom amoma ye rules akese nyina enso odwano mountains kwan na ekọ bepo no so de NDC ena wo me ye president mama ene Julius de Bradawro masabre no ena mo ko no great e mi ankasa na me hobi ti asem we de honorable boy adwuma de we de wo say me de hye honom yentoa eso ne enko asema ise hia pa wo Ghana ene bone a etuo da so a ekoso amaze se Ghana enkora suo empanifo suo obia suo chese obia nso egu ne yam oba atan utifie na asoma aba ukunu ko oyire ko omaye a na chese obia ne sto gugem na ano adede nkpo kolebugo yi ena chese nipa bonfo di moto so a bank ka ekọ wo mko bo polisi ni ten botuo na hama na dwene chese bie krama amene ni nyina agufom we na IGP ni police edwumako ni chese wom di sika ye 20,000 ede atoso ema obia ya obetimi ama o asem a ebe chese asomasi anasa obenti ne di ewuo ya ahometi se de ba obetimi akochiro se IGP so woma krado se bibia o mbeye bia o mde be Ghana for ho ban no woma krado so mbeye.
The police continue to encourage the public to be on the lookout for the perpetrators of the heinous crime that occurred at Jamestown, Accra. The Inspector General of Police has announced a reward of 20,000 Ghana cedis to any person who gives credible information to police for the arrest of the perpetrators. And in this regard, we assure informants of the utmost protection of their identities.
Police penny Sheila Abeye Jackson Backman ene no edwetwe nkomo a wochi modern bar police for airborne na security ana bambo hu semia yenko tamale yenu abema Alhassan Abdul Washid wo tamale no wochi mu se de kanea no adundum o miame awodo obi no ahomete wanhwe ya na akwakọ ha ye bambo hu sem na wi akata banpo ene yekum kofue na adwe de wo mbeye de wo tamale yenko Washid wi ya mo ha o good afternoon akwa baba UTV so.
Good afternoon. It's the same.
Nyankopon adaroma. Wachi said the oka no. Yenya nim se nkatamale de nko mo ye roundabout kese pa interchange e de ama ma obi ani age. Na kane ho asem a wo kan na ama ye nyina ye machine. Yen kan se de ba empenifo ehwe roads and transport no ade so no betimi e de o mani abatamale. Etesen ho anadwuduru a kane ho.
Yo sa ohwe tamalia kanea enhye de ne omudum na omuso na de aya ahomtene se obatamale metropolitan area titu VRA ko hospital road ana de ko Northern Regional Police Commander, traffic lights are Juma and Juma. Now that particular stretch of the road very vital and very important is a honomo so all cost salga and all koyendi a honomo na offer. Now apart from that particular road no link to Telemedicine Hospital, but say all ba honomo won't say traffic lights and say Juma or hono and Juma. Now see our road users and our pedestrians they almost say so the oba just how the you can say abuga the carry just how the chibe room na obi ejina hono ansa na white monti currently I can say Tamale Salaga Road, especially on the Tamale Police Station junction on ana library hono Jubilee Park hono traffic no ejuma Obe enim swa very officer what tamale the officer what tamale honomo so traffic lights bi honomo and also enye juma na one junction bi no so branch call Tamale Central Mosque honomo so traffic lights no enye juma na uba onima call four small shopping mall so traffic lights no engagement na main area utumu se nkrofo call Tamale old market into so a very vital area yellow and vehicular traffic you see pedestrians so traffic lights no currently you can say very dangerous obia this particular fine way so Tamale Potem.
She didn't patch on my musa asem we me aminim Tamale said the Tamale hote udru market ya we try ya adwuma koso pa up and down na moto so any bicycle ya de door so pa de asi wa akra he nkofo ne di moto ena edi bone patcho assembly no ne mpanifo e Tamale kwan ben so na omo bo asere ba moto no so obi nhyada mefam mfanye bone because bebre hon mo use moto no a omo nye nipa bone fo but wa hwe ana ba akofo aba befam no o de aye bone no so ho nsem te say
currently Tamale Potem no the police for and say once in a while we sting operation kwan so na o hwe Tamale Potem no mostly no omu di bono no omu di no wo smart it say obi ne fie no akoburu room but e can say omu di moto ekowi ade a currently any ade a very rampant Tamale Potem no but the adwin Tamale say riders are omu use motorbike and omu moto no bebre any use helmet bebre su any friends number plate ultimate identify moto ya bebia free no and idea adwin Tamale Potem currently police so that going forward no bebia a bit smart but once in a while as a police here more operational most of times no how they say interference political, religious, and elderly interference, and our traditional interference. Omutumi so motor base 20, 30, 40 sim. Now the urban itself will be best friend and our high place or our authority be either traditional, religious, and our political best friend say, much as we see in the motor, more releasing motor no and mano. And no, some again, Tamale apart from a traffic light, Tamale Potem.
Washid ye na wasi bebre ye nua be ma latan Abdul Washid e wo Tamale ye tivido mantema hinkro e no de amane ba ye be che se de kane adumi ene traffic light na dundum no so wan hwe ya na akwakofa bone e de aba e wo entem wono be ento akase bo so me ka obi o se UTV kase bo e na hwe ne live e wo UTV so no this way chocolate drink ene special ice mineral water ene special drink e ma refi se wie weda ye cool pa nti ne onya this way no udin social wono be very fantastic se ufufu nkuno ene wa pesi na no beko pa na fried rice no ene no beko papa ti we ya na wenye bi na wanom yenko eye controversial constituency aya waso West Wogon eye controversial constituency but eye popular pa constituency a escafo akese tele for ene to no ope ho atena kra be den so benye bi na mra hye bedwani a wona ete saa abato mpeso ano ya odi wo mo anamu ana odi wo made e wo mra hye bedwam ye maame Lydia Hassan aye dwumedie sonko bi e frɛ no mama Lydia di warming exerciser enkra won potem mo nyina wo me ya mo nsunsun no aduro e de di wo mu nkora nyina se de ba nsunsun e won nkora ne yem no ye beyi ne nyina afiri na nkora ne nya hoode asua de na wo matimi aka wo mani
Edamakuma so say Azia MP no kakra metumi aye every now and then e dey support ama ye ma no ade a wo mu esua nso so ebekọ wo mu chimu yie ama wo matumi enyin yie abeye mpanyin papa ye nyina ye hwehwe ye bekai awofo say worms no ye aye nim say wo nkwala no ye mu a ha wo mu ma aduane kra na ekoto wo mo yem a na omo ne worms na eche nti eyesa na omo ye weak omo sua ade a omo nye very active na ha wo mo wo fa nso so a etumi ma wadwe mo da ho fen etumi boa ema we very active, very attentive in class no money ade nti we no mo nyina ya ade a ye ede aboa constituency no se nkola no nyame be ye o madum ama o madesua ne o mapomudin nsem aye kama.
I will want to advise the parents that periodically they have to deworm their children, because if you leave this to only probably the MP's intervention, it means after this deworming runs out, the children, and as we all know, they play in the sun, they play everywhere, and so they could pick up worms again. So my advice to parents will be that they should take it upon themselves to deworm their children periodically as recommended by the health sector.
Worms ewo hoi omutume ebehye nkola no eyemu a omutume erere omu tissues ni bi erere omumoja ema aduane a ebeto ne yemu kra no na emo ano nso arebi apart from so omberibi no omo anso betumi ama aduane instead of say ebe absorb into the intestines no absorb nti na odidi nso ontumi enya moja ewo so onya nti the women there very important thing ka say every 3 months no ewo say ye the women no so that say ewo akola ni mu a ebe make sure say you be prevent it. And one of the strategies at WHO kra aka say was say yetaye.
Abusia for ye free aya waso west ogo na fe ya ba baby foforo ewo enkran na police hospital ya sabia kese pa nko mo hwe nkrofo pa na so na sen ahocha ba ama baby kra wo mo je nkrofo OPD no ne ade wa ye ma afa de wo ma ba abonten ene ebehwe ayarefo we ena ma doctor panyina won ne da wo mo ano DSP Gosin Ivan ene UTV kasa ene wo chiremu se sanka wo nya mo anka bebo mo pa na chicho ne se wo mo new OPD no a wo mo sie no ka bebo na so na anu ya sikasemunti no asa adwuma no akansinse mutu osraban senka o mehwe o mu se de bank o mbenya ba bia o mbehwe ayarefo no mbeba ho nyina yie.
Enipa eko police ayaresabia wo enkran dada kwaji apomodie no doso abo apeso eno entini doctors ni bipo ehwe enkrofo waiting area ho ebra UTV yekọ ho no mo no ye ni opanyina wono ena hwe works engineering so edema ayaresabia no DSP Gosin Avan edi enkomo ena wo chire mu se OPD no eho no mo esua eno entino omusi fofora enchombe wi ato mo se firi ho a ebeboa amanipa dodo aba na yetimi ahwe wo
fast track the completion of the project, which can accommodate daily increased patients to the hospital. At the current OPD site, they have only 3 consulting rooms, but the current one we are putting in place now is going to have 4 consulting rooms with 3 specialist rooms to help us facilitate. Yes, the doctors, they are ever ready to work, but the space over there is too small for them. That's the reason why we want the public to help with money for us to, and the other logistics too, get those materials to complete the project.
Kasamafo Edima Police Ayaresabea no eye DSP Yaunketia Yeboa ono nso ekasai.
Adia ama ehia se amade hye eboa Ghana Police Hospital ema yetremu edisemu amoba emu hu dako ya hwe nipa kura nipa oha eko ha nidu eho ansana womo ba referrals womo ba ebehu specialist for review any doctor womo ba abehu doctor panibi ya hwe no ye entoaso ya ebia waba bosumi atwamu anana otumi nu atwamu ansana sankrofo ni nyina ba sesei so ni akrowo so o teshi o nungwa o wo kaso o enkra ha ba bia wo mu firi banam so mo ba wo mu nya hwepa ye firi so sane hu nkola dodo a wo aba doctors ni bi kra ete abonten ene wo mo hwe wo sebe ya ni abrofum ye fra no waiting hours don firi dodo a yarefo no bedi ana bre dodo a yarefo no bedi ansana doctor ahwe no eso beti ye ba OPD emergency ha OPD emergency in case emergency center no wo baby nko na OPD wo baby nko so ye nya brebo hin ye nto buan kakra wo mom ja sa e wo ha etua ene de ye sa project sa dwumadi ye ha so ye charge murusu bia nti ama ahoden sika ahoden no eni ho enunti na ebehia se ye ma amanfo te na umtimi ebwa
Absafo ye free police headquarters afa ye nko sehwiyo so omanfo om titi nkro akase mienu mu e wo sehwiyo so no mu su ache aban ene mpanifo se wo mpata bi sika wo mpata sika bi akakokam contractor e de Cocoa Rose e wo sehwiyo so no e ma wo mtichu ene eye sehwi enyabrem e wo sehwiyo so no wono abase wo mu Cocoa afu na ebesi nne patesika waso wode ma wo ontwia into manfo eche se sehwi ba bi di sui na enkonya sehwi eho nyina wo musika kema wo so afo wo na hwe akwanto hu nsem so ene so afo hwe akwantempo ne ka akwan hu nsem so se onkwaje wo musika emmom wo mu ni contract bia mpene toton ene no wo musika no onkwaje mre wo
Okuakuyafo no edit to UTV enim say finchia so 7 years ni na aban edit contract ema Midwest adwumako ni so munyi kwan no na ebro mo eye kwan ni yetwa kokko nua dodo na etuguye Okuakuyafo mo ho ka ye ne yama bi mpatasika bi mu so ye mo bia enam so ama ho kire abapa Akuyafo no kirem sesese no yetwa mu kokko nyina da egu eno enti no wo mo nkoba no manya bawo adedi omo esra ba no sempatasika ye compensation omo twen wonfa emra
yefu eseni na so efi abrabra ekosu nyina mfu eseni na mfienu kaprempo bia ni ho ene enkoda nyina basesa sukukura besida no yeska man kwada ndi akosku de esra banya abai yemso be yenti ye hia sempa na letu na nise omomoden se obetie hia sema anopai me ami gina ha me kan ti me sre no abai NPP abai me sre no onabo usu Japan asara atuya minister Dr. Fi me sre won yama we ye kan enkoduru abam na aba so ntie nsu frɛ
omo be ye kwan no nema omo sɛ no omo antua obi aka kwan so a omo nyeye enti ye sre road minister honorable Amoakwata omo no nto omo mpanyini eni sɛ hwe so MP sɛ omo momoden na sui kwan omo meye maye na ye yete ha ye bre
ye wo ha kese pa ema ye yete ye area ha se ne free anyina brim bebe kitsu die ya ha kese ba ko pa eni kwan no na kwan we kwan a 2015 ana aban na wo so ode ma contract Cocoa Road ye area house Cocoa pa free area ha epko no enya agro na Cocoa Road yi na ban sen ba na omo ka se omo ye hwehwemu it Midwest construction omo ye hwehwemu atama 2017 ana omo ka se afidi omo ensan emra kwan so ya hwa ye contract idea Midwest oni de onsi ha se aban na de ne ka ana bia ontwa ma ntine omeye se friends aban so ana ono so ye kwan no wayi afum se enka ho na gesi ahwe kokko afiri ha ani nuane afiri asia chi kwampo no afiri 2015 kwan no ntama mu yi no mu dwie kwafomfuo nyina do na kamumfuo compensation asanka contractor no etua no wotua first phase second phase na ma emfie num ni nkrofo awukọ sisi ano musika krompo minim nkrofo kwa mba beji sika no nkrofo ne mpanyimfo si omo kire omo pa
ahemfo ni bi enso ni UTV edi nkomo kire mu se Midwest contractor ni no ye adwuma no modi ne ho ya pa esanse wontua mpatasika ema won
emse no kro no omo mi hu no kre no ebi obekọ so ye se kwan no kra no ye de omo fi no mo auto contract no in fact ye tunu se na da bi no mo dada ye sebe ekwan ombe akuafo japade a ye se no compensation kura na nke o se de makuafo no wonsi di kura ye fa mo no na sebe ekwan di na mo se akuafo japade ekwan so monye ne se ajapade a mo se ne se mfaso bi amaso enti yesere se ekwan no aban adamma omeye ekwan no maye titru enuane ne enobaya efiri kuma se eko akuafo edoso ewo kuma se pa hwe ya na ede hwe ma ewo school na sabi
we eye sehwi enono na se wo hwa Cocoa Rose pa ya ye mponi o na adane mfuturo no be hwe East Legon Rose ona abehu se ye kwa broche ne de East Legon na eko senso ye de Cocoa na eko a ye nyina ye sempa ye nko enkran hayai donkuna na omafo ye te donkuna wom chese new botiano ho na wo na wom chese quarry bi wo ho no ma se China for contractor for ye de amomu wom paya bo no pa wom chese nyame nim na otumi na chese de grrr akra foforo ya wo no kra yem tumi hia akra mesoro kra kan akra no aban de yadan ya mo se no we ya mo se nti ye tena ma China foi abesese ye niam nyina na China Quarry Company resum da wo so de ato omafo na nso omunya aboche no omguso omo hwe se wo mbenya mfidie kra no omo grele omo drele emoba no a enye dede bebre to omunya aboche mo so omafo nsi da nya de ometi ase
factory ya ye sha ase ya aban aso ya sene ewo one district one factory nim aye pese ye so ye de boa na enwuma eba oman yimu yin eno ho asem ntina ya bebe pie ha den de yaye ama adehia e wo mantem an se akwan bi da ha na emu akwan ne akwan aka entumi emfa so esan se eye abobo na ye pai wa anti ye tubi e dikogu sa akwan ne so na ya tremu ama ka atumi afa sa akwan ne so na wo be hwe ye nchemu ha eye ya market bi e wa ase a maame ne ye nuanu ma etimantemu ano etumi kwaton ade wo ho mo so ensa ekọ omo ano den wo hwe ye nchemu ase ye factory miensa e wa ha ade hye bebre na etimantemu ase no omo ye adwuma wa ha den wo hwe efiewrafo atwa enwo hye ye nkorofo ne bebre etisa afie ni mu nti ema omo ha ba ye so a omo ha no ye ha te se de omo ye so ye ha ye omo ha no nti de asi wa ha bia no ye hwe na ye siesie bibia amamo ye se omo nya abotre emaye na enche bia ye bewie ade we na ye bie ano ama ede anije ene sere ahye nyina ye num ewa
new botiano for quarry a wo mo chese sumda for so wo mu guso aye adwuma se de bombe bo manfo no ban eno no ma me fa nko parliament na sesi ansema yensaka efiri mrahye bedwam chese yewra okujeto ablakwa ekobusa ensem ewo parliament fa o mampani player na nse nkrofo keka ene anya asem ko to mo se o mampani seselesi na nado wo change ezi wo che 50 cent chese wakwa akogji chartered plane papa ono nko a wodamo wo ba wo twa 7 ewo plane nim ene gold cap kra wo mse wo mampani benum kra gold chese nya asem keto na ake yese de enyina nim se wodo wano don wi a ebi nwo ena ono abukobusa question yi ono abu niti ene so afo hwe bambo ho sem so mo abi kireche makoma ko hwe se president Rollins abreso kra na flying coffee wo mse wo mse santi NDC mo ha ne sen yenko parliament.
Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Air Force has for a long time had asked for the re-equipping of the communications squadron to enable them perform their functions effectively. President John Ajekunkufo heard this plea and decided to acquire for the Ghana Air Force a Boeing business jet, which is a BBJ, and I will continue to refer to it as and a Falcon 900 EX EasyJet, though he knew at that time that he would not use them during his time as president. Mr. Speaker, the BBJ could carry over 100 passengers and about 40 passengers on VVIP settings, and it was intended for long-haul journeys and also to act passengers minus the crew was to serve as a backup to the BBJ and also to serve shorter routes. But for some strange reasons, Mr. Speaker, the BBJ order was cancelled by the new government in 2009. The Falcon 900 EasyJet was the only aircraft that was delivered in 2010. The current Falcon 900, though serviceable, lacks enough range to reach long-haul destinations without refueling stops. The Falcon 900 jet will technically stop at airports where the president does not intend to do a stopover, and this could lead to unnecessary delays and placing a burden on an unintended host to offer diplomatic courtesies that they would not ordinarily be prepared for. Currently, when the president uses the Falcon 900 EasyJet, most of these other necessary staffers, travel, commercial, would increase costs, as well as suffering attendant delays in transit because of the lack of direct flights to ultimate destinations. Because of the lack of direct flight to the ultimate destinations, Mr. Speaker, where the president has to travel to 2 or 3 destinations on a trip, 2 or 3 separate staff units have to be deployed to each of these countries. The capacity of the current Falcon aircraft is far below that of Pokua 28, which flew VVIPs of more than 25 passengers during the era of Achampong, President Achampong, President Akufo, President Rawlings, and President Kufuor era. Hence, the urgent need for an appropriate aircraft which can better carry a payload of between 7 inventory. Of all the categories, Mr. Speaker, that we have, the Mi-17, which is the helicopter, is the most expensive per working hours and maintenance. 1 hour of a chartered Mi-17 by the UN or World Food Program is 5,000 United States dollars. 1 hour of a caster is 10,000 United States dollars. And 1 hour of a Falcon 900 is 10 States dollars. These are standard prices for planning. But for a president, Mr. Speaker, who flies every 3 or 6 months in a year, the use of a bigger chartered jet will ultimately become cheaper if the delegation is more than 20 people or 20 passengers. Mr. Speaker, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is one president who prefers to go by road.
Abusiafo yewra Dominic Niti o ne so afo hwe bambo ho nsem so no obecheche mu se plane de ho hia so omokoto no se se Falcon 900 no kra 2010 NDC fo ya en wo mokoto e no so se de etie ne na ho de ni tumi ko long journey into omuduru ba bia free ha kosi Togo so ogina no to plane free ha so ogina no to petrol edigumu enuti na wo makoje foforo ya se nipa bebe e na edi to kwan de na che se ne bo no e wo form ti enti se de NDC fo na wo monama na omo e kana abusiafo ya na ne homra na fe yenko agudie ho nsem emu ni se de mia me almighty Kumasia Sante Kotoko ukuma apema apembeba se ye ne house for bosso bare e wo league table no so timu kuma apema apembeba ye betu house efi league table no so mo hwe ade apene wonti efi we de mo GF fo no ya wo ne mo dada na ya de ma monko ye mra na fe ye nua be ma Romeo Odro oso house ni na o de Friday mbeto me hye me kotoko t-shirt ono so be hye ne house of folk ye be hwe atenga be yira tenga ye ba sisi a e de aka ne ya ba be so amam